Great. So, hi, my name is Noa Zilberman. I was one of the founders of Odo Security, and it was acquired by Checkpoint a few years ago. And I think, obviously, many of us are familiar with the cybersecurity industry. Some of us have founded cyber companies, and many of us are here thanks to the cyber industry and its significant role in the Israeli ecosystem. So, we can't really talk about cyber without talking about Shalev Hulio, who's one of the founders and CEO of NSO, and currently founder and CEO of Dream Security. So walk us through the journey of Dream and how it all kind of came to be and what do you actually do?
So hi.
Hi.
And a pleasure to be here. So Dream was founded 2.5 years ago. After I left NSO, and I met Sebastian Kurz, which was the former Prime Minister of Austria. We can talk about how we met. But, you know, we wanted to do something new. We realized that there is 3,500 cybersecurity startups around the world. Most of them focus on B2B, enterprise, small, medium businesses. And when you really think about the threats in cyber intelligence and cybersecurity, you realize that the majority of the threats are towards nations. And there is almost no cybersecurity company that was founded with the sole mission of secure nations and government entities. And we thought this is a very unique angle to attack, to address. And that was the first thing that we wanted to address. Then we realized that everyone wants to go to America first. And we realized that there is a huge market in the rest of the world, so we wanted also to address. And the last thing, which is the most important thing, we realized that if we want to build a new era or the new things in the cybersecurity, it doesn't need to be cybersecurity per se, and we should focus on artificial intelligence. And we realized that we need to build like a foundational model, a language model that focus on cyber. And when we had those three elements, that focusing on AI, then focusing on government, and then starting with the rest of the world, this is when we realized that this is what we're going to do, and this is how we basically founded Dream.
Which was named the first unicorn for 2025, so congratulations on that.
Thank you.
And
thanks.
So starting a company with a politician, that's not something you usually see. How did that happen? What's the story behind it? Sebastian is obviously one of the most well-known politicians in Europe, so how did that happen?
So Sebastian is not he's not a standard person himself. He's like a rock star. For those of you doesn't know him, he was the former Ministry of State, 2 times Prime Minister, and he left politics at the age of 35. So quite young and talented. And, you know, when Sebastian was in the elections between his first term to the second terms, his entire servers, his mail servers got hacked. And he was the prime minister of countries in Europe, Austria, had all the resources that he had, and he described it as complete chaos. He didn't know what to do, he didn't know who to call. He said that he could make any phone call that he can, but still he doesn't know what was being hacked, is he safe, what is going to be leaked to the media the day after. And it was 3 weeks before the election, and every day the media was publishing other things from the emails that was hacked. And by the way, until today, nobody knew or know who was behind the hack. And for him, it was like a moment that he said that it's something that cannot happen. Like, we cannot be in a situation that politicians, governments, critical infrastructure being hacked, and we will not have a solution for that. And he won the election, but it actually he left with a big mark and even a question mark on how to do it. And he told me that he knew that the day after politics, he would definitely do something that will focus on cybersecurity. And after politics, he started to work for Peter Thiel. And then he came to Israel to look for investments. And we met by chance, and we showed him around, and I was still in NSO, and after a few days that we spent together, he said, call me Shalev, I don't know, I'm not Shalev, but Shalev, I really want to do something with you. And back then I was still the CEO of NSO. I told him, listen, I'm the CEO of NSO. And he told me, so what? I was the Prime Minister of Austria. One day you will not be the CEO of NSO, and give me a call. And then a few months after I left NSO, and it was actually the first phone call I've made. 24 hours he came to Israel. It took us a few months of, exploration, let's call it this way. And then we realized what we want to do. And I know it's like a unique co-founder in that essence, but really is the best founder I ever had, and I'm happy that we're doing it together.
That's so amazing, really amazing to hear. And I think that being not standard is coming to something that follows you, because also setting up an offensive cyber company is not something that is, again, like standard. What is the challenges that offensive cyber founders are facing nowadays?
So, when we're talking about cyber, we basically can divide it into three main pillars. Cybersecurity or cyber defensive, this is the majority of the commercial companies. This is what they do. This is basically what we're doing here, all of us. There is cyber offensive, the term that you used. It's normally not relates to commercial company. It mainly relates to government. It's let's call it blowing up pagers using cyber activities. So mainly on nations, you will not see commercials company doing that. And there is cyber intelligence. Cyber intelligence is what Israel used to have a lot of companies in doing that. NSO is doing this, Paragon and many other companies. I think, a few years ago, we in Israel was the leading nation when it comes to cyber intelligence. We had more than 30 companies in Israel doing cyber intelligence. It was, from the cyber field, it was a big export for Israel. And because the regulation changed in Israel, a lot of companies need to shut down, and we saw a lot of companies and individuals leaving Israel and opening those companies abroad when they can avoid regulation. I think it's pity, and I think it's something that we should fight against. If you really want to become, to stay a super nation for the next several years, countries need to control or be on top in three things: cyber, AI, and quantum computing. And I think that when it comes to cyber, on the cybersecurity, Israel is still leading and continue to lead. When it comes to cyber intelligence, a lot of the brilliant mind that we had in Israel left abroad, and I think it's something that we should change. I think we should bring them home, and I think Israel should be back to one of the leading country in that aspect.
Yes, please. So, touching on that point, Ben Gvir was recently quoted seeking the redeployment of Pegasus within the Israeli police force, right? What do you think about that? I guess you have a...
So, I'm not tend to agree with Ben Gvir on a lot of things, but I don't think he's right 100%. I think he's right 1,000%. The national security of country today is relayed on cyber. Okay, that's what we can do. And if you just looking at the numbers, okay, from the moment that the Israeli police were taking the cyber capabilities, you see the huge rise in violation in the Arab community, in murders, in crime, in pedophiles. And the biggest reason for that is that you took cyber capabilities. If you have a police that cannot prevent crime, and cannot prevent things from happening because they can't, using basic cyber capabilities. Eventually, it hurts us, a civilian, it hurts the national security. And I think that it's like sending troops to Gaza with swords instead of guns. Okay, you cannot really fight this way. And again, the reason that it was taken was basically a chain of articles that was published by Kalkalis that eventually were turned out to be completely fake. So, I think NSO was, suing Kalkalis back then, and Kalkalis were apologized for that. But still, I think that we need, from one hand, to have right regulations and legislation of how to use this tool. And for the other hand, we need to understand that it's impossible to have resilience and to have like a community without crime without using those capabilities. So in this case, I have to agree with Minister Ben-Gvir.
Okay, that's amazing. We have 50 seconds, so let's maybe just touch on maybe a suggestion or something you want to say to future entrepreneurs, either in the cybersecurity space or whatever.
Wow, it's a tough one.
TikTok.
Yeah, in 30 seconds. I think the best message that I have is, keep dreaming. Don't be afraid to fail. You never learn from successes, you only learn from failures. Be proud of what you're doing, even if you fail. And I think we have an amazing people. I think we have the best entrepreneurs in Israel, people that have vision and resilience and dealing with so many things and wars and still being able to raise money, raise capital, building companies. And, the only thing I can say is continue. You are doing an amazing job, and I hope that we will stay and remain startup nations. And thanks for inviting me to speak here. Thank you.
Yes, amazing, amazing.
Thank
you so much, Shalev.